Some of you have run into the same situation as I have. In this case, it's that you have set up your home base or two, a new update comes out, and all of the chunks you've explored won't spawn the new mobs or the new structures. But you want it. Particularly, you want it at your bases. Well, here's what you're going to do. And yes, this is a tutorial on how to regenerate the chunks where you want the update, meaning you will lose anything you forget to copy. So step 0 is you want to make a backup of your server files, the world, in case you mess up anything and you can just start again. Then start up the server and join the game. What you want to do to start is to put yourself into OP mode. That means typing /OP space self in the chat. This will allow you to use the commands that you need. Next is pressing just the O key to put yourself in creative mode. This gives you access to everything and also no clip. For myself, I do not want to accidentally pick up any extra items, so I'm keeping my hotbar empty. You can see here that I am lining myself up with the corner of my base. I go into the creative tools and the builder tools, and I can click on that 4th tab to find the selection tool, put it in my hotbar and select it. Now what we want to do with the selection tool is left click. This starts a drag selection on whichever axis the block face is on, and you will move over to the opposite side of the build that you want to keep. Click again once it looks like it highlights your build, and this will start the drag selection on the next axis, which you can see me lining it up here. Once it has covered your entire base, click one last time and you have your selection. In the chat box, type /copy, and now you've got a copy of your base. You may want to keep a note of where your base is in terms of coordinates. Now we will teleport somewhere far away. Far enough for me was about 2,000 blocks in both X and Z. It may be different for you. Once I've teleported, I don't move at all. I just make sure I'm in the air and I type in chat /paste. This will paste our base and supposedly all of our entities as well, although I don't see my skeleton horse. So now I have the build of my base backed up. It's in this new area floating above the ocean. I also have a backup copy of the Quibok village that I found, and I also wanted to get this chest because I thought the salt was important enough for me for some reason. So it's a little cheaty. I'm putting the chest with the Quibok village. I don't want to have to make 3 different copies. I drop off the chest and I make all the same selections with the /copy command and then the /TP to go close to where I pasted the last base. You can see me pasting the selection of the village there, and this time it did copy the entities, so I lost my skeleton horse, but I get to keep the unripe apples. Great. The last thing I do is set up my spawn. This is very important. So I break my bed, I replace it, and then I set it as my spawn. Now we have everything set up to regenerate the chunks, stop the server, and here I make the second backup of my entire server folder. Now why did we set up a new spawn? Well, we do this because the tool we are going to use, called the chunker, is going to be used to delete chunks outside of our own spawn so they can regenerate. But remember, we want to regenerate our spawn chunks, so we get the new mobs and structures. Sleeping in that bed temporarily makes the floating backup base our spawn, allowing the real base to be deleted. So open up the chunker, and remember, we are copying our base to a new chunk so we can delete the chunk our real base is in, and then replace it with the copy. Meaning any torches throughout the caves, chests, buildings, or mobs that you have not copied will be deleted forever. In the Hytale save path, we want to select our folder that has our server folder, and this is the same server folder that we backed up as a copy at the start. For me, this is the D drive. I've just got it in a folder called Hytale. It has the server folder that I created, which, as you can see when I open it, also has my universe folder, which is the Hytale world that I'm editing. So I'm going to put down the path to my Hytale folder into the Hytale saves path, and select the server folder in the select world dropdown. Next, we put in the coordinates of the bases or structures that we copied. These are the coordinates of our bases floating above the ocean. Mine was 2000, 2000, and also 2000, 2200. I also want to delete as many chunks as possible so I can get more of that sweet, sweet new chunk generation. So I put 0 in a protection radius. Here I am clicking dry run. That means that the chunker will tell me which chunks my bases are in and how many other chunks will be deleted, but it will not delete anything until I run it without dry run. So this is more like you are getting information of what it will do before you do it. We run it again without dry run and it deletes everything except the chunks our floating backup bases are in. Great, start the server up again and join it. You'll be in creative mode on your floating island. Just like before, we want to use the selection tool, completely select our base and do the /copy. I have teleported over to the real base area. For me, it was easy to find from my multiple def markers. They still exist as player data apparently, but the entire area is freshly generated. Now, I'm not the best with these tools, but after choosing the paste tool from the same menu that we got the select tool, you will be able to find and place your base exactly as it was before. I have to find the center and dig down a little bit to get that correct depth. And you can see me comparing by swapping on and off the paste tool. Unfortunately, my homie the skeleton horse is long gone. So that is base 1 done. Now the Queebock village, it's the same situation. I didn't know how the paste tool worked, so I am destroying this tree a little bit, but it doesn't bother me too much. I actually forgot to check. I may have accidentally duplicated the number of chickens and unripe apples we have by doing this, but the game stole my skeleton horse, so I'm not fussed over a few extra basic mobs. Last thing, we want to go back to the floating islands and make sure we select and delete them. I did this with the /cut command, and I'm just going to let the items fall and despawn. Then back at my original base, break and remake the bed and set it as my spawn. I'm done. My area should be updated to allow new mobs and structure generation from the update. More importantly, this is going to need to happen every time the game updates with new content. This might get a bit bothersome to do every time. I'm just doing it because I really like this area. So you may find it better to play the game with the assumption you will create a new world or even just adventure out in your current world to new chunks that you haven't explored yet. Either way, here is me running down my completely unlit cave. Remember, the torches I placed before were deleted, and I can see that, yes, the underground jungle does have dinosaurs from the new generation. It's a success. If you watch this entire video, then I'm sorry that this happened to you, but also consider subscribing.